Welcome to Hack Your Mind.
If you suffer from social anxiety disorder, even facing other people can make you feel sick and cause you to shake uncontrollably out of fear of being judged negatively. If you suffer from severe social anxiety, you may find it challenging to carry out even the most routine tasks, such as making small talk with coworkers or a trip to the supermarket, and doing things like going out to restaurants, going to school, going on dates. Managing social anxiety is very complex. But if you need to learn how to communicate with others more confidently and comfortably, you can get started with these 10 tips to overcome social anxiety. Number 1, go see a counselor. Despite what some may say, social anxiety is more than being awkward or apprehensive around strangers. It might be challenging to cope with the symptoms of social pressure on your own because of the nature of the disorder. Getting expert help is a significant first step, but there are other things you can do on your own to alleviate the tension and worry you're feeling. A mental health professional has the training to clarify the distinction between social anxiety and shyness, identify social anxiety triggers, and provide treatment recommendations. Number 1, they can instill healthy methods of dealing with stress, interacting with others, and unwinding. They can give advice on how to replace or reframe our negative thinking. One possible method of treating social anxiety is using graded exposure, which can be practiced in a safe setting inside therapy. Group therapy and support groups allow you to interact with others who share your experience of social anxiety and practice your social skills in a safe and supportive environment. To get medication for social anxiety, a therapist can recommend a psychiatrist. Medication can help lessen the impact of distressing symptoms, making it easier to engage in therapy and make progress. Number 2, explore specific situations that trigger anxiety. The second step is to identify the exact events that bring on anxiety. Those who suffer from social anxiety may experience its symptoms in different ways. Anytime you have to do something in front of other people, from placing an order at a restaurant to using the washroom during a lecture. While you might be judged by them, it might cause you anxiety. Conversely, you might enjoy yourself socially without actively participating or speaking up. Locating the root causes of your anxiety and identifying the times of day you experience it most are critical initial steps toward overcoming your fears. As a starting point, think about the things that make you feel the most uneasy. Some examples include presenting yourself favorably in a job interview, visiting the professor to seek advice, making initial contact with a romantic interest. Number 3, refute destructive ideas. You spend a lot of time worrying about the worst case scenarios that could occur in the social interactions you highlighted. You may be anxious about the certain following situations: saying or doing something inappropriate, using the wrong person's name, tripping or dropping something, laughing, sneezing, or coughing at the wrong time, being visibly ill in public. Things like these occasionally occur and can be annoying for a while visualizing oneself in a similar unpleasant circumstance can be stressful, so it's essential to put things in perspective. Missteps in social interaction are usually overlooked and forgiven. People may recall a period when they were in a similar situation and respond with empathy and with compassion. You could even create friends by sharing embarrassing stories with one another. Rather than letting worried thoughts take over your mind, consider confronting them and replacing them with more useful ones through realistic thinking. You can give this a shot by asking yourself fundamental questions regarding the issue, but you need to give yourself honest and well-rounded responses. Number 4, begin with baby steps. It's okay to take baby steps while dealing with social anxiety. Do not feel obligated to initiate a conversation with strangers or take on leadership roles in meetings. So here are a few strategies to consider. Instead of using the self-checkout lanes, try striking up a conversation with the clerk. Please raise your hand if you want to ask a question in class. Make someone else feel good about themselves by praising their clothing choice. You may find it easier to interact with others if you do it in a familiar setting, such as a small get-together with close friends and family. Renaming nervous feelings can be helpful for some people. So think of it in this way. Rather than saying, "I'm so scared about tonight," say you're excited to see what people are like outside of work. Number 5. Practice with reliable actors. What are the worst case scenarios? Suppose you anticipate potential difficulties in a future interaction and prepare for them in advance. So in this case, you will feel more at ease dealing with them. You can practice ordinary communication skills by acting them out with a friend or family member. These are also called role-playing exercises. So just a few possible situations. You go to the drugstore in quest of an item and have to describe it to the cashier. Number 2, you botch the pronunciation of your friend's date's name and they set you straight. Number 3, during a company meeting, your boss asks a question and you respond incorrectly. Number 4, your collapse is witnessed by many people. An advice for you: have your conversation partner offer a range of positive, negative, and neutral responses to help you better anticipate potential outcomes. Number 6, practice some forms of stress relief. To the same extent as with chronic anxiety, social anxiety can cause distressing and debilitating physical symptoms such as sweating heavily, a racing heart, trouble breathing, dizziness, nausea, and upset stomach. If you're having trouble controlling your anxious thoughts or experiencing overwhelming terror, try some relaxing techniques and they will definitely help you. Number 7, be generous with your actions. Performing random acts of kindness for 4 weeks helped lower social anxiety and the urge to avoid social situations in a 2015 study involving 115 college students. There may not have been an obvious connection between being kind and having social anxiety. However, it makes sense after you give it some thought. Those who suffer from social anxiety often do so because they are afraid of being judged negatively by others. Suppose you did something helpful for another person, such as bringing a sick coworker their favorite soup or offering to pick up a neighbor's grocery order. Now, in that case, that individual is much more likely to have favorable thoughts towards you than unfavorable ones. If you can consistently earn their acceptance, you may find that your anxiety in social situations decreases and your ability to communicate with others improves. Number 8, limit your alcohol usage. Now, it's common to think that a couple of drinks can do wonders for calming social nerves and making you feel more at ease in unfamiliar situations. Sure, a drink or two can help you unwind, but it can also make your anxiety and stress levels skyrocket. Suppose you frequently drink to alleviate your social anxiety. Now, in that case, you may develop an addiction and find it tough to interact with others sober. So to have the same results, you may find that you need to consume more alcohol. Number 9, watch out for subtler types of avoidance. Okay, so you know that avoiding all social settings won't help your social anxiety. What would help if you avoided strategies that encourage only a surface level of involvement? So you might keep yourself occupied by doing kitchen chores like dishwashing and meal preparation for parties. In a conversation, letting the other person take the lead in discussing themselves is polite. When you want to avoid conversation in a group setting, you stand on the periphery and stare at your phone. Attending a social event without actively participating may help you feel more comfortable. This strategy will not help you overcome your social anxiety. Even if no one actively rejects you, you won't get to know someone very well unless you try to do so. Admitting that you've been using unhealthy coping mechanisms is challenging. Still, the benefits to your relationships are usually well worth the effort. Number 10. Look for triggers. Think about when and where you feel the most uneasy. You can write these down if you want to. Examine your experiences for repeating themes and devise strategies for dealing with or avoiding your anxiety and panic. Knowing the root of your worry can help you deal with it more effectively. So in conclusion, being socially awkward and worried about being rejected by others makes it hard to meet new people and develop meaningful relationships. So if you want to avoid and overcome social anxiety, try out these 10 tips. If you can add more to this list, let us know in the comment section below. See you next time.